Guys, I know usually I like to do funny intros and things of that nature, but we really have to really understand the fathom of what's about to go down. This is going to be the first rare unit review in the game. Well, in my channel. I haven't even reviewed Xeon. Even with his whole highly bullshit, he has not been reviewed on this channel. And instead, we're going to give it to Thor's baby cousin. How's my hammer for a wake-up call? What's going on, guys? It's your boy Cash, and today's video is oozing in Norse mythology, can beat Kratos in an arm wrestling contest, and is 100% MFO. Today we're going to be talking about Morris, and the reason why I want to talk about Morris is because he kicked my ass. There's many reasons to talk about him, but that's mainly the reason is that normally I don't really care about certain characters, but when you have a character that comes out of nowhere, out of the blue, and just does amazing stuff. Now, recently I was talking about the Banger family, and I think that I had a pretty much like a 2-3 minute tirade or something of that nature talking about Morris. I think I edited it out, and if I didn't, then there's no purpose of this video. But I'm pretty sure I edited it out because the video was taking too long, and whenever I do videos, they're usually like 30-40 something minutes long, and I edit it down and try to condense them because I like to talk. I talk too much. So I really wanted to highlight this guy and really give him the respect that he deserves as a member of the Banger family. I might have just touched on the fact that I think that he's one of the counter people. Yeah, that he's the counter, but I really wanted to really highlight his kit overall and how really stupid he is and how strong he is. Let's go with the tail of the tape and first start off with his stats. Now, of course, we're like, he's 3-star right now, so I mean, let me just look at here, the bottom right here. That just shows how multi-layered this character is. Check that speed. 89 speed on a buffer is really good. It's really good just because of the fact that he might be able to get that buff off really early, and that alone is pretty strong in my opinion. Block is 60. Crit damage, block defense, and luck is going to be the same across all characters. Now his critical hit is 20, so he's not meant to crit per se, and there's a reason for that. Dodge is 92, hit 101, pretty good. Now when we look at his base stats, we're looking like, oh god, look at that pathetic HP, look at that attack, look at that defense, right? But obviously it's because he is 3-star. So if I 4-star him, you can see that attack go up by 200, and then if we actually 5-star him, hey, can you not talk, man?
I'll still be of service as long as I can wield this hammer.
All right, so now that he's 5-star, you can actually see that his attack goes up to 1083, defense 899, HP 4173. So he's not really to laugh at. Now, I'll be honest enough to say that I haven't looked at every single rare character in the game to see if this is like comparable, but it's interesting that him as a rare character that also is an attack buffer that has a decent amount of attack. You can almost consider this to be 1100, right? And if you consider 1100 and you start clicking around to some of these other characters, just saying, Rudley 1155, Jin is a little 100 above that, 1228. Same thing with Baraka, 1226. Like, he's not too far off of them, and yes, he's behind them, of course. I mean, he should be. You know, he's a rare character, he should be, but also we have to make mention that, you know, this is not, you know, you can boost up their stats further because they do have the ability to unlock potential, so you can get them a little bit better. You can actually do that, and I think that that's important to note for this specific character because I'm hype training him right now. You can, you know, improve his little skills, but we'll go into that. We'll go into his FC later, of course, because that's the main reason why we're even looking at this character is because of his FC. So let's first go in and look at his base skills, what he's coming into the playground with. Let's check out his auto attack. That doesn't, okay, he comes down on it. The animation looks weird. Oh god, the animation looks terrible. This guy, he's a rare character. You know, they don't have to deal with all this nonsense. Passive is just the basic version of counter, so I would assume if you did wanted to invest in him, you would get the counter up so he can get pretty much free mana when he does get attacked. But base version just has the regular old counter. Then you have this, the Master's Quenching. Quenching, I think that's how you say it, I'm pretty sure. Now, increases all allies attack by 15% of own attack for 7 turns, and it's all allies. It's cost 2 mana. He is a machine-based character, so not really too hard to get that, especially if you're any type of, you know, you have Rachel or I think Janae in the back row, then she'll get that, and then once he gets his turn, he'll be able to do this from the beginning of the fight, which is awesome. Then he looks like this. I love that. Bang bang, throws it up to the boys. And then last but not least, we have the blacksmith's hammer. And that's why I said that he doesn't have high crit. Same thing with Rudley. They keep his crit low because he has a high damage burst. 750% off of Rudley himself. Not the same conditions. Rudley can do it off 4 mana. He has to wait till he has 5. But still pretty good. Animation not that crazy, but it is important to note that he does have a high burst. He has a high attack. He brings an attack buff with him. So he could theoretically burst through some of the Dragon Blood characters on his base kit. So I think that that's really cool to know of this type of character. Now when we bring him into the FC version, right, the extremely stubborn Morris, right, you can see that his buff actually goes up to 20% now. It gets a 5% boost just from being in the skin. It has to, because of the way the FCs work, that the skins don't get the bonus of it. His burst also goes up to that, where if you were to unlock potential it would go up. So now it's a 1050 burst. Still pretty stupid, still pretty crazy. I think his animations do change. Let's double check on that. Oh yeah, how could I be so disrespectful? Let's check the age of this young man, and he has the young age of 52. So yes, ladies, he is all for that. He is ready. He is willing and ready. All right, even in this form, you know, it depends on what you like. Okay, so they just add like little sound effects to it. Let's look at this. Same thing. Is this different at least? No, everything's the same. Sorry, I wasted your time, and they wasted mine. But honestly, this is the thing that I really wanted to bring up to you. 20% attack boost of his own attack spread across the team. Now, it wasn't necessarily him that killed me, but it was him boosting up a battery that killed me. Obviously, any mage, and this will go into the next portion of the review. Let's use Bathory as an example. Now, most mages, or most, like, in my opinion, high damage dealers, they're usually going to be somewhat slow. Even Rudley, Jin, and Baraka, they're fast, right? But they're not doing as much damage as Bathory would on a turn 1 or something like that. So it was crazy these two combined, and Bathory is very popular of a character, is that her S2 nearly killed, like I think 2 to 3 of my units on, like, pretty much on an early turn, right? And they were just straight out dead. His attack boost, that means even if he wanted to boost his Morris to be stronger than his Bathory, so like, you know, let's say he had that much high of attack, which would be very hard for him to do, because Bathory's base attack is 1302, but if he worked on his attack so much that when it gave 20% of it, that it raised her attack with the mana utilization and all that other nonsense, that it was able to kill 2 of my characters from jump off her S2, you have to understand how ridiculously strong that is. And I mean, just because he has access to it, as long as he has a little bit of mana, and that's what's gonna bring me into, I don't know, any character that goes after him. So as I said, he had, I think, 86 speed. I said go back 86, 89. So it is a little bit difficult to get this move off, you know, properly. It's 2 mana. He is a machine and he's fast, so yes, he'll get 1 mana, but he won't necessarily get 2 unless something happens. So in that regard, even in his FC skin, you can increase the counter. So if I were to use him, if I wanted to utilize him, I do think that you'd want to come over here to the passive. See, even this one is, if the target dies, you're very likely not going to get a kill. You kind of need it, you need to level 3 it. So that's the only suggestion I would give if you really wanted to make him viable, that possibly the early turn people might hit him, like I was, because he was in the Benga form. He's in Benga, so I was like, okay, let me start working on him to get him out of there, so the heart strike doesn't build up, right? Hey, just wanted to interrupt my own analysis here. I put it in a little text note or something like that, but I really wanted to reiterate that one of the best synergy characters with Morris is actually Rachel. I didn't mention it in the video. I mentioned it earlier in the video that Janae and Rachel have a synergy with him because of the back row mana. So on his first turn, as long as he doesn't get hit, he will actually be able to do Master's Quenching, and that's what I fought against. So I just really wanted to say, like, I am mentioning unlock potential right now, but you can also, if you have those characters, you can utilize that as well and then still perform a crazy nuke with Bathory, and that's just 3 units in the back: Morris, Bathory, Rachel, with that just alone. Obviously, Janae is just going to slow their attack speed if her attack's high enough, not as much, not as crazy, but Rachel specifically is really strong with this setup, lowering their defense and then boosting your own attack. and then providing a nuke afterwards is very strong. But I just thought that I mentioned that, and yeah, back to Pass Me. But it's just a note. Like, yes, the rare characters are gonna require way more investment to make them better than some of the fadeds who pretty much come out of the box that are great. Like I was saying, when you do put them in the banger skin, is that I've also mentioned in the other video, is that he will be able to counter, which will pretty much, if he counters onto the Heart Strike target, that means it's going to automatically level up to level 2 Heart Strike, so that's really good. And if you have to have him deal with Dragon Bloods, he does have a high burst skill, so a high damage skill at that, and it also has burst if you decide to 6-star him. So it's just he's packing a lot, and I think that, you know, most people aren't going to look to the rare characters. Look at her speed, 53 speed. Yes, Bathory has a big AoE, right? But wouldn't this on a normal day of work just kill? Does a lot of damage based off of it, but Bernadette would get a lot of kills with Morris as well. A lot of these characters, I'm not going to go through every character and try to see who's slower than him that can benefit off of early single damage like nuke, or even an AoE nuke at that point, because remember, he's not a tank. He's not a tank, he's not a support, so he gains mana when he attacks. So even if the first turn he attacks, as long as he gets his turn quickly, which he should theoretically by turn 2 be able to do that, and then your characters can pop off after that. So there's a lot of play with him, in my opinion, a lot more than I would have normally considered, because who looks at rare characters? Now when it comes to gear, I'm actually going to suggest something that I normally do not. This might be the first, and again, this is very weird, right? This is very weird. I'm going to suggest something that I normally do not suggest, but specifically for him because of how his kit works. And that is going to be the light set. I think that he should be on a 3 to 6 light set, or maybe even on a block, whatever one you want to go, 3 block, 3 light. But the 3 light is only 768. It depends on how confident you are that he's going to survive. I think if I remember, his block wasn't too fantastic. In my opinion, either you go 6 light or 6 frost. Now 6 frost, obviously block, mitigate the damage so he doesn't leave out the threshold. But the reason why I'm saying for the barrier is because 1920 is pretty good in my opinion, because all you have to do is survive the faster characters than him. So yes, you know, the Jins, the Barakas, they might come after him if they want to, but the odds of their auto attack breaking 1920 and then further more into his HP enough to get him out of the machine, I would think that that's highly unlikely. So I think that he'll be able to get his first turn 1, drop the buff, and then nuke the rest of the team. And I promise you guys, it's a significant amount of attack boost. It's nothing to scoff at. And as you guys also know, that attack boosting characters, based on the other video that I did about Wrath, is that it's gonna boost up your Wrath damage as well if you're running first Guardians in your team. So it kind of full encompasses that he's nothing to laugh at. But last but not least, the thing that I wanted to mention is that he is on his own string. So that's even another reason, is that he is regularly obtainable. Now this one here, this banner here, I don't think is that great. I don't find Adam is cool. He's a cool character. I don't think he gains that much. He doesn't provide as much as the other one does. Jin is nice too, because he is the gold in there. He has that little branding thing. This guy's okay, but again, he doesn't really do anything. He has focus shot. So I think that if you are gonna summon on a string right now, you want answers to First Guardian shenanigans, I definitely suggest you come on this string. This string not only gives you Tantalo, which have I also said that S2 that he has, he attack buffs increases, he increases your block, he poisons to actually will agitate the fuck out of First Guardians, but whoever has the Heart Strike on them will actually, those ticks will actually trigger the Heart Strike, which is really good. He has a attack break, which is nuts. He actually has an attack break as well. So this banner right here is awesome. And then you have Luke, who is just a defensive guy, not too much that he's going to be doing, but he comes in there with Morris as well. And I just explained why Morris is so good. This string right here is really good for the current meta of the game. If you want to start to build to counter it, it's not something I think you just started playing that you should be investing in. Maybe wait till this one. I mean, it's 27 days out, but yeah, you have these really strong First Guardians, and they're probably gonna do one after that. If you look at the theme here, there should be one that's coming probably like 60 days later, which will be like the other 3 characters, even though there's 7. So, oh no, the Baraka will never be on a string, they said. So it will just be Maggie, Rara, and Ramsey is technically his real name. So it'll probably be those 3 on on the one that comes after that. So everyone will have access to those characters. You just have to save up and, you know, avoid all these other very tempting things, but it is what it is. And that is going to be it for that. What do you guys think about Morris? Do you guys think that he's worthy of investing time into? Do you think that this is an over-exaggerated review? I think that a lot of people, especially a buffer, anyone that gives out a buff in these games, in gacha game hero games, have a higher like respect for me because they add so much utility to a team that even like the Tantalo guy, he's obviously not a rare, but AoE block increase sounds interesting as fuck. You know, sounds like something crazy, something really hard for you to get around when every character has block. And then let's say AoE block becomes meta because it makes you survive Bathory S3. Crazy stuff can happen, but people aren't willing to really deep dive into those things because it's honestly not in meta. And the meta is usually the meta because of how strong it is and how reliable it is. And that's the biggest one, how reliable it is. People don't want to try something that's not stable. They want stability. They play these games, they want guaranteed victories and results, and I can always understand that. It's annoying, but I can always understand it. Anywho, hope you guys like, comment, and subscribe if you guys enjoyed your time here, and just remember that every day at the casino is your lucky day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.